Hi guys, and welcome back. Okay, so it's officially been a month since I scaped this tank. It had been dark cycling for this whole month, and now it is finally time to start planting. So before I get started planting, let's take a quick look at the general state of the tank. So because I haven't water changed, not even once this whole month, as you can see there are some tannins in the water column, but that's fine. That's part of the process as well. There's a lot of, organic matter floating at the surface, so it needs a good water change, which is perfect because I'm going to completely drain the tank to start planting. So what I want to do today, planting wise, is I really want to start working on the trees. I think this tank is going to be planted in a few different stages, but at least for today I'm really going to be concentrating on these bonsai trees. So what I'm going to be using to make the bonsai effect is I'm going to be using weeping moss that I have a lot of in this tank. So I really want to put it to use because right now there's just a lot of it in this tank, and I think it's going to look great on the trees. As you can see, there is a lot of moss, especially in the back section, so I'm gonna try not rip this tank apart and really try and take only the moss that's in the back section. I'm gonna try and not rip everything apart here, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to save much of this. So there's a huge clump of moss here. Oh my god, that's huge. That is a lot of moss, and I've just ripped everything out. Okay, that's fine. Too late. Okay, let's make sure there's no shrimp. I think that's more than enough. That's a lot of moss right there. Just like in part one, I'm going to switch the two lights because obviously this one is sitting on the lid, and that's not practical when I want to drain the whole tank. Okay, so now that I've drained the tank, I took the opportunity as well to siphon in between all the small cracks of the rocks to really give it a good clean. Now I'm just going to wipe down all the glass, and then we're going to be ready for planting. To attach the weeping moss onto the small bonsai trees, what I'm going to be using is standard liquid super glue. You want to make sure it's cyanoacrylate based because that's what makes it safe. So I think I'm going to start in the back section, and then I'm going to try and work my way towards the front. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. What I like about using liquid super glue is just it coats the whole surface of the wood, and it gives a lot of area to be able to glue it correctly. Gel is very useful, but in these kind of small detailed scapes, I find that this works a lot better. Okay, so as you can see, I'm making good progress. Some of the moss is a little brown because it was lacking light, because it was a big clump. I'm going to trim all that off when I'm done, and in a couple of weeks it's going to be completely gone. Okay, so far so good. I really like how it looks. It needs a small trim, especially in some places where it's a little brown and looking a little messy, but I don't want to trim it too much because the moss does also need time to adapt to its new water conditions. So I'm not too sure about this filter. Thought I was gonna be able to hide it. Maybe I will add like a clump of moss in the back later on, but I will maybe also switch the filter. I haven't decided yet, but I'll see that a little later. Okay, so I think I'm done with the moss right now. What I'm gonna do is gonna swap the lights back and fill the tank back up. So we are the next day because I ran out of time yesterday because it took forever to fill the tank. So as you can see, the tank is looking a little messy right now. The moss is kind of scruffy. I really need to trim everything back. It's going to look a little bit unnatural for a while, but that's fine. It's also going to promote a lot of new growth. So to be trimming the moss, I'm going to be using these. These are my favorite. They're spring-loaded scissors. You don't need these, but I do find that in these smaller kind of nano tanks, you do have quite a lot of room to maneuver because as you can see, they are quite small. So this is not the best method because the net is getting caught on everything, so I'm just gonna siphon it out. I'm just going to quickly net out these pieces of moss out of this water because I like to put it back into the tank because, you know, the tank has been water changed yesterday. There's no need to throw out this water. I'm just gonna take the moss out. That's quite a lot of moss. So it's officially been 10 days since I planted the tank, and as you can see there's been a few little changes. So I've swapped the light, and I've also added a CO2 system around about a week ago just to help out the tank. I did a small survey on Instagram on one of my stories asking you guys if I should plant the foreground or not. So it was almost 50-50, but planting won by, you know, just a couple of percent. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to be planting the foreground. Also, sorry if there's an echo in the room. This is quite a big space, and yeah, I'm going to try and do something about that in the upcoming videos, but bear with me for now. Because I'm breaking down this tank in about a week, I'm going to take the carpeting plants inside it. So I'm going to farm all the plants out of it, and all the rest of these plants are going to go into other setups, or I'm going to keep aside for the new rescape of this tank. That's what's really cool about having several different kind of tanks. It's when you need plants, you can always get it from some other tank. So I'm really trying to be very gentle here so I don't mess up the water column. I will be doing a water change later on obviously, but yeah, trying not to make too much of a mess here. So that is a very, very decent portion. I don't think I'm going to be using all of this, but still, that's pretty good. this is what's left of the plants, so not a lot. I used almost all of it, to be honest, so I'm quite surprised. I thought I would use a lot less.